presented by Under Armour and Sleeper Fantasy. Welcome to Light Years, my man. Warriors lose 138-136. You know, I'd like to say we learned something new tonight. I really would. But we know that's not true. We know that's not true. In fact, you and I even texted about it at halftime. And it just predictably played out here. I texted you when they were up 6 at half saying they're going to lose. Got a perfect first half from Draymond. Made every shot, and they're only up 6. OKC wasn't playing particularly well. Chet Holmgren missed half the first quarter. I mean, it was just – and to your credit, you're like, oh, it's 100% loss. You knew it's coming. And I feel like my only takeaway here is – oh, no, I fucked it up.
Frosted Tips. Huge.
Folks, we're doing a special Black Friday.
I don't know, man. I think I messed up what I was trying to do, but I was just going to be like, man, when it's over, you know? It feels like it's officially over for this team. I don't know what else to say, but that's where I'm at. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's start there. Yeah. I tweeted this out at the end of the game. They're too old, they're too slow, and they're too dumb to be just nonstop.
What am I doing? I apologize.
YouTube ads. It's all three, right? They're too old, as in they're just not good enough anymore physically. They're too slow. They can't get a stop on anyone. SGA, Jalen Williams, they can't get a stop. 130 points is embarrassing, OT or not. And they're too dumb. They've never been the smartest team, right? Like, let's not sit here and act like they've always been like a LeBron team or a CP, like just methodical, make all the right plays. And they don't not always been that team, but the thing is their variance is always amazing, right? They'll always reach these highs. And now you're just seeing them. They're just constantly dumb without the highs, right? Tonight, they don't get the elite Draymond defensive performance, nor did they get Clay going for 35. They got a decent Clay and like a decent Draymond, but those guys are still making dumb plays left and right. And to me, that's where this team is at. They're not good enough to mask the dumb plays now that they have.
I mean,
ridiculous.
I think it's a little simpler than that. I don't think they're skilled. I think this is what happens when you turn away every player because they don't fit your system. He dribbles too much. He does too much of that. And you end up with a bunch of dudes who are role players who can't do anything other than, I don't know, play with effort, really. Like, when I look at this team, I thought Clay and Wiggins played an okay game. I thought Clay played an above average game. I think Wiggins had a good first half and a bad second half there.
Yes.
But neither of those guys have any business dribbling the ball. They're not skilled enough to. And as Clay slowed down, he can't get to a shot as much as he wants to. He got to it tonight, but that sort of thing. Draymond, never been a shot creator for himself, or, he's not a scorer. Looney, not one. You look at the second unit. Okay, Chris Paul didn't play tonight. Corey Joseph, another classic, I like him because he doesn't make mistakes player, but he doesn't do anything either. He doesn't actually do anything positive. Pods might be their second best shot creator, and he's a 20-year-old rookie, which is the problem. Wiggins, wrong.
Kuminga's their second best shot creator, but yeah, which is not great because he can't dribble either.
He's their best athlete. But yeah, the skill is not where you want it. And then, Moody, he wasn't drafted to be that player. Moody was drafted to be kind of a Clay, Wiggins, 3-and-D type of guy. And so I'm just sitting here, and on the flip side, I'm watching Oklahoma City. 4 of Oklahoma City's starters can play off the dribble. 3 of them can get their own shot at will. Like, Shea can get his own shot at will. Jalen Williams can. Chet Holmgren is a center can, which is pretty special. Giddey's a good passer. He can't really create off the bounce for himself. But I'm just sitting here and I'm going, look, man, they could be older and more veteran, but at a certain point, you're just looking across. I'm like, are you guys actually better at basketball than them? Like, and that's kind of where I'm just, and I agree. There's more to basketball than, going to your bag and getting off the bounce. But like the flip side to it is like, if you can't do anything when the defense overreacts to you, you just end up throwing the ball around like idiots, which is what the Warriors did tonight.
And all that being said, they're up 3 with 7 seconds left, and all Draymond has to do is not go for a steal, which he had no chance of getting unless you're Victor Wembanyama, and not foul when a guy's shooting a 3 because the guy's already shooting a 3. 2 of the dumbest plays for a player that I think you and I have sat here and has said that Draymond's one of the smartest players we've ever seen. Those are 2 of the dumbest plays I have ever seen. And so all that being said, to your point, they're running an emotion offense because that's what Steve likes, Sleepy Steve. And they have 30 turnovers because their motion offense doesn't work because everybody knows what it does and they have nobody that can dribble. So they have 30 turnovers. All that being said, they lose because one of their championship trios makes a boneheaded play that honestly, Sam, I don't think high schoolers make. That's how dumb that was. So I don't even want to make this a macro thing for me tonight. I'm actually focused on the micro tonight. That's how stupid that was. One of the dumbest plays I've ever seen. It's embarrassing because we've now seen it multiple times this season. This is not
multiple times against this same team, against Chet Holmgren, who's technically a rookie.
Multiple times this week. Sorry. Multiple times this week they've done some of these plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a one-time occurrence. I think you and I, one time, whatever, keep it moving. But this is a symptom that's been consistent for guys that are in their mid-30s, have won 4 championships together. The guy's got a gray beard. That's how old he is, man. He's got gray in his beard. And what are they going to do? Yeah. I mean, look, they're going to sit post-game and they're going to talk about how they should have had the game and blah, blah, blah. No, they deserve to lose this game. It's pathetic. I said 30 turnovers. Sorry, 29.
29, by the way, most since 2002. 29 is a disgusting number. And Steve's gonna overreact to this and play Chris Paul 30 minutes next game because he doesn't turn the ball over. But it gets back to the same issue. Why did they turn it over tonight? Some of it's just stupidity, like no way around that. But a lot of it's like, dude, you're playing a longer, more athletic, quicker team than you, and you have no ability to create a shot. So you're trying to do 14 intricate passes. And to your point, you don't have Prime Iguodala. You don't have that style's really hard to play at that level without shot creation. And it's just, I'm just sitting here, I'm going like, am I really going to blame Moses Moody or even Wiggins for not being Andre Iguodala? Like, come on, man. Like they need to evolve off of it. They need to,
right.
And I know, I'm assuming your perspective is like, Steve's not going to change. So what are we talking about? But
what do you do? I just don't understand what you do because you watch this game. If you're honestly, I think Steve and Steph and Draymond are part of this though, Sam. Like, I just don't think it's just Steve because I think if you're Steph, like that overtime was just, he turns it over a few times. He really just waits till they're down by 9 points to start going ISO. Mm-hmm. And I'm not asking for Steph to shoot the ball every possession or to run pick and roll every possession, but you gotta be more aware that this just isn't the offense that's gonna work anymore. You can't start Looney. You can't just play off ball half the game. It's not gonna work. And I think this falls not just on Steve Kerr, but those 2 guys, because it's Steph and Draymond that run that team. It's
the flip side to it is Steph doesn't want to play on ball all game because he's 35 and he's I don't think he has the legs to do it. And so we get back to the issue, which is we've seen enough. It's a roster issue.
Yeah,
and there's we could focus on how Kuminga looked really good tonight for the most part, how Pods looks like the best draft pick they've had in a decade. Like, the kid's a player,
elite
Moody.
Elite feel for the game. by the way.
Moody's coming along. Like those are good things, but I'm just sitting here and I'm going, they need more at this point. It's because those guys look really good for their age. They do not look really good for contending, which are two completely different conversations, right?
Yeah. From a process perspective, I think even if they had won this game, you can't convince me that this is a contending team, right? Even if Steph wins that game at the end, let's just go by that. They get to 500, right? They get to 11-11, but you can't convince me that's a contending team. They can't stop a nosebleed. You bring up Iguodala, that was the guy that I was really thinking about at halftime, because I'm watching this team and I'm like, yeah, they go up by 10, they go up by 15, then they're down by 10, then they catch up again. Every game's a nail biter. They just don't have a guy that's a stopper, right? They just don't have a dude that you can throw out there and say, all right, SGA, like that's it tonight. They couldn't do that. Jalen Williams was running Clay over tonight. Running him over tonight. Kuminga had no chance. And the thing about Kuminga, and again, Kuminga played well. He had 24 points. I thought he was incredible.
11 rebounds, probably more impressive.
11 rebounds, amazing. But he doesn't know how to play defense, right? It's hard against someone like SJ, but like he's super big and athletic, but he just doesn't seem to understand how yet. So maybe he will, but he doesn't know how to right now, right? And so that's what part of it. And then you brought up Iguodala on offense. I'm thinking about Iguodala on defense. They just missed that so much. And I mean, maybe you can say it's GP2, but GP2's out half the season, every season, right? He's just hurt all the time, so you can't rely on him. It's hard to watch this team that really, Sam, I don't know if they have any answers.
No, I mean, it's like the saddest thing is it feels like try to hold it together to the deadline. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man,
like you're probably not going to go on a run. And you're probably not going to, well, you could free fall, but you're probably not going on a run. So how do you get to the deadline and put yourself in position to potentially make a good change? I don't know. I want to play this sound. This is from yesterday pregame. Obviously they started the championship lineup, but this was in context of who he was going to start.
I mean, it sounds like it might be just delivered tonight, but where are you at with that a day later?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't decided yet what. I mean, I've been very committed to, getting this first group going, because I just watched that group win a championship, 2 years ago, and year and a half, actually. That's significant to me. And I still think all those guys have a lot to offer. They're kind of an ensemble cast, each one is very much dependent on the other. And, kind of to your point, like we've sort of, figured out who we are and how to play, and got some different things we try to do. And there's a lot of continuity with that group. So I want to stay with them. But they have not been the same.
Can we put this to rest?
Okay.
That lineup's been figured out. I'm impressed they were able to get away with a lineup with Steph being the only guy who can create his own shot, Clay and Wiggins, and Looney and Draymond, who are non-scorers in the front court, for as long as they did. But like, come on, man. It's just predictable. It cost them in the playoffs last year. They don't have an alternative beyond that. And they need to move away from it. Now, the part that kind of bothers me in all this is he says they won a championship 2 years ago with this same group. I don't really care how people feel about Jordan Poole, but he was a way more integral part of that team than he gets credit for. He's also probably him not being as good is why they fell apart the following year. The dude was the second best scorer on that title team. He was. He also was the guy they would always throw out there when they needed additional offense. The fact that his game fell apart is probably the single biggest reason that they went from a contender to mediocrity the following year. But it speaks indicatively to what I feel, which is, look, man, Clay and Wiggins play the same role as far as I'm concerned. Neither of them could create a shot. And I'm just looking around the NBA, and it's just like, you got to have someone other than Steph out there who can do something. I don't need I don't need someone who dribbles in a circle for like 18 seconds on the clock, but like you kind of need someone who can get their own shot just to keep the defense honest a little bit.
Also got to be honest about the guys that are there today that haven't reached that level. I mean, even Clay just hasn't been the same guy from 2 years ago when he first came back from injury, which is a little sad. And then Wiggins has completely, and tonight, I mean, you said he played a good first half. He did. Second half was terrible though. Like stepping out of bounds. Brother, you're not a rookie, man. Like Kuminga, I get if he's stepping out of bounds. I can get played too much. He's out there, right? Blah, blah. Kuminga's the one that looks composed out there outside of the last foul, but whatever, right? He's the one that looks composed out there. Wiggins looks like he's fucking deer in headlights, airballing layups, embarrassing. So his level has gone low. The comments over here, I got to read this out here. So no Jordan Poole, you mentioned that, but no Otto Porter, Bielitsa, and a healthy GP2. I mean, like those are 3 elite role players, right? Tonight they have those 3 guys tonight. I mean, Bielitsa is kind of just like a Saric-ish kind of type of player. But you talk about Otto Porter Jr. when he was on the floor for the Warriors, was an elite rebounder, knew how to pass the ball, knew how to defend, and then of course GP2, right? Just he would have been the guy that's guarding Jalen Williams or SGA, probably SGA, and would have done a better job than someone like Kuminga did tonight, right? So like those are the role players that are great, and then you combine that with the fact that your 2 starting wings are terrible now.
The 2 starting wings are terrible is a bigger issue. By the way, Sarge led the team with 12 rebounds. Him and Kuminga combined had 12 each.
Like Sarge does dumb stuff, but he plays so hard, and he's a role player that I really got nothing bad to say about him.
He's better than Bielitsa. He's not quite as good as Otto Porter. He's in the middle there.
He's definitely better than right, exactly. Yeah, right.
It is what it like. He's not as versatile defensively as Otto, and like that's a big deal. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I still feel like watching this team. It's the biggest thing I'm sitting here. It's like, dude, they have no offense outside of 30. You know, you can run 18 screens to get Clay a shot or Moody a shot or whoever it may be, but it's like. And I think everything permeates down from that. I really do. I think you have to work so hard to get going. It leads to stupidity. They always turn the ball over, but how many of those turnovers could be alleviated if they had someone they could trust to create?
Just run a pick and roll. Exactly. I mean, exactly. Just get a guy. I mean, that theoretically, that's what Chris Paul was for. I mean, that is their answer theoretically. Who was sick tonight, by the way. Is that the answer? I mean, I think I say no. I think I don't know how you feel now. I mean, like, is that really the answer? Probably not.
Is Chris Paul the answer? No. I mean, having watched it, the hope was Chris Paul would be able to get something out of Kuminga and Moody. Right. And honestly,
Kuminga looks better without him.
Yeah, they're getting it out of Kuminga just by putting him next to Steph and Draymond. They don't need CP3 to get it out of him.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know if he's going to make it past the deadline. They're going to say all the right things. He's been a professional. I can't hate, but
was he sick tonight?
It hasn't worked. Tonight? Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? You know, so it's just what I'm sitting here. All right. Before we get to the goons, our guy Bob Myers. You see him on
Yeah, please. I have a take here, so I was hoping you would get to this because I have a take here. But
so I'm gonna play the one with him with Charles Barkley, not the Haliburton one. Okay.
I want to give you credit for jumping off the Titanic before it sunk.
No comment. I'm staying away. No. I have friends. Shot fired. I have friends over there.
Yeah, you're going to see them soon.
I can't outright hate Chuck. I mean, it's elite hating of the Warriors, but Chuck's Chuck, you know. Why don't you? I'll let you kick it off. You have something you want to say?
I like Bob. I know people have used these videos and his ESPN tenure so far to talk about the terrible draft picks he's made, but I don't know. I like him. I don't have a take. I was gonna go with the Haliburton stuff, but before we get to that, I was gonna have you get some stuff off because I think you're a little more annoyed of Bob Myers than I am.
I'll get to that. I'll get to the Haliburton stuff just because you wanna get to that, and we've been seeing it. I don't know. I don't really know if I expect Bob to act any differently in that moment. Like, what do you want him to act offended? Come on, you got to kind of play that off with a laugh, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it is what it is in that moment. It hits a very sensitive part in me regarding, they had a chance in 20 and 21 to set this baby up to be a 20-year run, which is unrealistic. But any way you want to slice it, what they ended up doing with those draft picks, it's such a missed opportunity, whether it was flipping them for better players or just taking the right players. You know what I'm saying? Like, you turned a number 2 pick into acquiring a guy you could have just kept in free agency. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
you just look at it from a process standpoint, they were gifted picks in Steph's prime, and those picks could have been the Kawhi Leonard, which is the young guy to help you, or they could have been like you compile them to get Anthony Davis or something like that, And any way you slice it, they got the worst of all worlds with it, and that's what's infuriating.
But they won a championship, so that's what I go back to. I know, and people are gonna hate me. But I feel like I'm always been in a bad mood lately, so maybe I'll be the good guy here. But like, to me, it's
they didn't win because of those picks.
They
won because Steph's an asshole.
But
and
who's to say if they drafted LaMelo that they win a championship? We just don't know, right? So give me the reality where I saw them win a championship. That's the reality. That's the Doctor Strange alternate universe that I know that the Warriors won a championship. But I don't know if they had drafted LaMelo Ball that they would have won a championship. What if him and Jordan Poole knock each other out? Because they're both kind of just the same dude. Maybe something like that happens and Jordan Poole doesn't become Jordan Poole and they don't win a championship. I don't know. And so that's to me, and I know it's not like there's nothing concrete about that. It's just me saying, give me the reality that they win a title. That's all. I'm happy. This is some elite copium. I've been doing a lot of copium. By the way, Nick in the comments, I'm not stressed out. I'm getting married next week. I'm not stressed out. It's not a big wedding. It's just it's something quick. So no stress from my part. My stress is Shohei Ohtani. But I don't like, you can set up the next 10 years, but how many
forget LaMelo though, because I'm going to play the video right now.
Okay, there we go.
If we're honest with ourselves.
Yes.
And I think LaMelo is significantly better than you do. Tyrese Haliburton's still the better player. Like, it's like if you redrafted it with like knowing what you know in the future now, they go no.
I'm taking Haliburton 1.
I mean, he's having the best year, but so it probably goes Haliburton, Ant, Melo 3rd, probably. Yeah. Maybe Jaden McDaniels 4th. Anyway, the point is, who's not in the conversation is James Wiseman. Yeah. So, but your point stands. It's hard to argue that Haliburton's not the best player in that draft. Looking at it 4 years later, or 3.5 years later at this point. Okay, let's play this real quick because this is the one you want to react to.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
2 miles from here, in Vegas,
with
myself, Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob, and he did what he does. He made a ton of shots. And we looked at each other and we said, he might be pretty good. A different kind of shot, a little bit of a set shot.
Funky shot, right?
But he made them all. What bothers me more than anything was his workout was good. When we met with him after, I should have known then because of who he is as a person and as a leader. Because you meet with people, you talk to them, that conversation left a mark because of how smart he is and how confident. It's not fake. It's not arrogant. It's confidence. And so, Woj, when you talk about players wanting to play with him, that's real. Because he's a great player. He's showing us now he's a great player, and this is a fantastic stage for him. But more than that, there's a lot of great players in the NBA that people do not want to play with. There's a lot of them. You are a great player and a great person, then people want to play with you. So he's doing it. I'm thrilled for the Pacers. I'm thrilled for that community.
What are we talking about?
And we're lucky to be able to watch him 30 minutes from now because
he's amazing. Bob is amazing. What is he talking about, Sam? What is he saying? What is he talking about?
I'm giving you the stage. I'm giving you the stage because my blood pressure is rising.
So this is classic, right? anytime, when you're in sales or you've got to really filibuster or something like that and just bullshit all around bullshit. This is what you do, right? The first thing you do is you half admit their question, you say it back to them, then you talk about something entirely different, Tyrese Haliburton's personality, which is Bob's thing. Then you get really emotional. Look at his face. He's in there. He's just like, him as a person, and then he just starts talking about that, which has nothing to do with the fact that they didn't draft him. But my point was, and I think this was obvious point, is that he's the Kawhi Leonard, right? He's the Kawhi Leonard, more so than anybody else. He's the mid-round draft pick. He's the guy that I think, nobody really knew Kawhi coming into that draft. San Diego State, like who knew, right? Tyrese Haliburton, by the way, Iowa State, by the way, Brock Purdy. Looks like they're boys, which is funny. But that's the guy, right? Mid first round draft pick. They could have traded back to get him. The Spurs traded up, right, to get him, traded George Hill. But that was the guy in terms of parallels. He would have led this team. Maybe in an alternate universe, I would take a gamble and say, just give me Haliburton. Maybe the Warriors win 4 titles. And even if they win 0, maybe they win 0 and Steph is 3. At least we get to watch Haliburton for the next 15 years. That's, I think, the pick. That is the guy that is the Kawhi Leonard of this, that the Warriors just missed on. And the sick part, though, is that once this video came out, everybody started retweeting old quotes of of Haliburton saying how he wanted to play with Steph, how Steve Kerr liked Haliburton. Haliburton came out himself.
Warrior scouts loved him.
Facts. And the last one, he came out himself on Reddit show saying that the Warriors came hard at him. Whatever that means. Don't know what that means. But he said that on the show. And
maybe we'll investigate this on the next pod.
Just that's it, man. That's it.
We might have a special guest, someone who's nefarious enough to get to the bottom of it.
Nefarious is great.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't want to do the could have had him, but it kind of gonna look at him for the next decade and probably think about it. Every time we watch him, you're gonna just be like, probably could have been a Warrior, and that's probably how Minnesota feels for a decade watching Steph Curry.
Well, that's fair.
And I don't know. Bob can play it off. I should have known. I should have done this. Bro, you should have just done your job. It's pretty, I don't know. We'll get into it, but I remember the Warrior scouts liked him pre-draft, but they didn't think his upside was high enough to take in the top 3. And it's one of those things where I'm just sitting here and I'm going man, go with your gut sometimes. Trust yourself a little bit, man. Just do.
Right. They had picks. They had offers to get back to 8. Remember?
Well, that's the point. They were afraid that if they passed on one of the, Wiseman, LaMelo, and Edwards, they would be looking back on this for a decade that they missed on the next big thing. And so they had to take one of those 3 instead of trusting that I kind of think this kid might be better than those guys in 3 years. Kind of do. And to be fair, he's been better than them every step of the way. But, it's one of those things where it's just kind of you're overthinking the upside a little bit. And I don't know. It's frustrating because he's going to play in the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup finals. And he's been phenomenal the entire way, right? He's just a phenomenal player. And he's a Warrior player. You watch him. He's everything this team has been about for a decade. And it's just hard to not be frustrated when you're watching the whole thing.
Do you think that because Haliburton was also traded, right? The Pacers weren't his drafted team. He was traded.
I mean, the Kings are morons for that too. If that's
talk about that for a second. It's insane to me.
I always refrain on making fun of them because I'm look, man,
the Warriors.
Yeah, it's not like the Warriors didn't have a shot also, and they didn't make the same dumb decision, So
I just think it's hilarious. I mean, the Kings are awesome, and the Warriors choked one away, classic, because they're too dumb, and they couldn't beat the Kings. But Sabonis is a great fit for their system. But man, Fox and Haliburton. Now maybe you can't run a team. Maybe you need one. I don't know. Sam, Fox and Haliburton.
I mean, the obvious answer.
They had them.
The obvious answer is you hold on to it longer, and then maybe move one of them for
Okay.
like a
Right.
Giannis, not a Sabonis, like an actual like superstar big.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And until then, it's like I don't know, the talent's too big, but whatever. That's
like,
the I'm looking at it from the Warriors lens, which is they have the number 2 pick and they trade him for nothing. They trade him to get back a player that they could have got for free.
I always feel like because Haliburton was just so at the time, because you go back snapshot in that moment, Haliburton was not in the top 5. He wasn't in the top 6, top 7, top 8. Like it was very clear that he was like a periphery top 10 guy.
Some people had him around 5-6, but you're right. No one was seriously considering him over LaMelo or Wiseman.
Which is not to say that if the Warriors wasn't ballsy enough, they could just take him, right? Like that's your job. You don't just go group think on this stuff. But he wasn't that guy. It's like with Steph, it felt like he was going to be a top 8 guy. Like if the Warriors didn't take Steph, he would have went right after, right? And so Minnesota fucked that one up. But it wasn't like Haliburton went 3. So I think it was always like LaMelo is kind of the more obvious one because it's like, well, LaMelo's probably would have went 2 if somebody else was at 2, right? Didn't it feel that way? It kind of felt like the Warriors.
Chat said Mike Schmidt had Haliburton top 2.
So ESPN, okay.
Wasserman, I just looked at his mock draft because he reshared it. Always great when you're right 4 years later to be like,
what did he have him?
4.
4.
Say should have gone number 4. And I don't think either of them are disappointed. Like,
I mean, those guys were right. Him
turning into this probably exceeds what anyone thought, but they're just like, no, he's a lot better than people think. He fell to 12. Why? Because he had an awkward shot and like little skinny,
I mean, like low floor is what I mean. Sorry, high floor, low ceiling is what people say. Yeah, I mean, people say that about Podziemski, and then you watch Pods play, and I wasn't a fan of him, but I don't know anything about him. I wasn't scouting him, but you watch him play, and you're just like, I don't know. I mean, he might have a low ceiling, maybe, but he also is going to be a 38% 3-point shooter. Looks like he can play some pretty good defense. Yeah, 40 is hard. I went a little bit. 40% is hard. So it's just
he can hit a shot. That's for sure.
Right. So the only thing about him is, to me, the only question about him moving forward is he going to be like strong enough or shifty enough to consistently create his own shot? Because to me, it looks like he's going to be able to defend. Like he's just going to be good enough. Based on effort and how he feels the game, he's going to be good enough.
It's like the Halliburton question, which is like, he's terrible on defense, but what?
He's just so good. He's just so good on offense. He's terrible.
He was good for the Kings for a minute.
Yeah. Maybe when
I think once you get into that, like he got average 30 and 15.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Steph for like 5 years be like, nah, I'm just going to camp out on the corner. You guys play defense. I'm good. But I think he can defend if he has to. But what I was going to say is, it's like the same, like, can he get his own shot when defense is key on him? Right. And Haliburton's clearly proven he can.
Yep.
Like that should no longer be a question. With Pods, like, I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I do know for the 19th pick, he's probably going to be a productive player.
I love him. I mean, I love him. I don't know what to say, dude. I love him. I kind of wish that they didn't need to play Kojo with him. I get why Steve does it, but whatever.
I kind of wish they went to the logic of just drafting basketball players instead of theoretical projects 3 years ago, because that's what they did with this pick. They're just like, which one of these guys, just watch it. Which one of these guys is a basketball player? Fuck upside. Fuck, like Cam Whitmore could be, remember
what's Cam Whitmore up to?
He's in his G League because he's not good. And maybe he will be, but it's like,
sure.
It's the mystery box. Like, once we teach him how to play with these physical tools, he's gonna be the next Kawhi Leonard, And they're just like, maybe not, but like, the Warriors drafted the mystery box way too many years.
Well, they did, yeah. Well, I was gonna say they did it multiple times. Because what do you think Mike Dunleavy drafts in 2021?
If they took the best player available, they would have took Franz Wagner.
Right. And like, do they take Trey Murphy? Right. Like, that's another guy who, I love Moses Moody, but well, I guess Trey Murphy can't stay healthy. So who knows? But still, right. Like, they definitely take Franz Wagner. They definitely do, because the kid knows how to play basketball, which, we
And
didn't even
he's got like underrated physical skill. Oh, it's not even underrated. He's a 6'10" ball handler. That's not underrated. That's pretty properly rated.
just white.
Right?
He's just white. But Kuminga played very, very well today.
He did.
Before we get to the Goons, can we talk about Kuminga? Because I want to, do some optimistic at least. But Kuminga looked great tonight, right?
He did. I mean, this is kind of why I want them just to look, man, you're not winning a title.
You want to say showcase, you sicko.
It's not even about showcasing, man. You're not winning a title.
Yeah, I agree.
Jonathan Kuminga is your best route to a title. Either he develops into being that guy you need him to be, or you showcase him and then you can get the player you need. But the point is, the core is not winning a title. They need one of the young guys to step up, period. And then when that guy steps up, then you can make the decision if you're going to move him for an older player or you trust him to be that player. And so that's where I get frustrated with not wanting to give these guys space, because I understood it 2 years ago when they were very clearly a top 3 seed. But this team, what's their best case? The 6 seed right now?
Yeah, they're a first round team right now. They're first round team. Absolutely.
Might as well see what you got with those guys and then react down the line.
Yep. All right, we'll get to the Goons here. Before that, we are Light Years Podcast, brought to you by Under Armour. Steph Curry makes you believe you can do anything. Believe me, believes that he can do anything. And Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce, grip, and stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite player and rep his shoes on and off the court. Curry 11s are perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet, locked in no matter what you do on the court, stopping your tracks with dual density UA flow cushioning and traction, and emergency brake you don't even notice. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage and rep UA wherever you go. Do your thing, change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curry is available now at currybrand.com. All right. We're brought to you by Sleeper Fantasy. You think you know basketball? Try to turn your basketball knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Tonight, pretty straightforward. 2 players. If you had taken Steph Curry and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, boom, cash out. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, just choose 2 more of your guys from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code right there, Light Years, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right. And Light Years Podcast is brought to you by Factor. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, flavorful meals to fuel you on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you eat well for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. If you're looking for calorie-conscious options over the holidays that don't skimp on flavor, try delicious, dietitian, calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. Or if you need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best, try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. So head to factormeals.com/50 and use code LIGHTYEARS50 to get 50% off. That's the code LIGHTYEARS50 at factors.com/LIGHTYEARS50 to get 50% off.
Do I get mad? Do you want to get mad?
Just go. I don't even know what you're gonna play, and I can't wait. Let's go.
Story of the game from your perspective.
Yeah, turnovers and fouls. I can just repeat it every game if you want. I mean, it's turnovers and fouls. That's what it comes down to. So, the fact is, we're playing one of the best teams in the league on their floor. We're good enough. We're good enough to win a championship. I believe that. But if we're going to just turn it over and throw the ball to the other team and foul over and over, then we're going to lose. We know the formula. We just controlled that whole game on the road against a great team. That's our game. So, turnovers and fouls.
He's pissed.
29 is like almost kind of an obscene number. So
Yeah,
it's just the most
obscene is the right word.
Wow, he's
It's
pissed.
an obscene number of turnovers.
game. Which are the ones that you just like? I mean, I assume you want all 29 back, but which ones are the ones that you just like can't have?
You want me to go through them?
Particularly if there's any in overtime.
He's angry. Wow. This is
We'll
kind of
watch all 29, I can tell you that. Yeah, as a team, we're going to watch all 29 turnovers.
Wow.
Because it's a decision-making game, Basketball's all about decision-making. There's probably some where, it's random. Maybe it's an illegal screen. We got a couple of those, and we'll see, what the calls were like on those. Maybe they were good calls. Maybe I don't know, but I don't mind illegal screens so much. But passing is a crucial aspect of this game, and you've got to be able to make solid passes and solid.
I think Sleepy Steve might be awake. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but is he awake in terms of what his roster looks like?
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
Fucking 2023, brother. Everyone knows you're trying to make a pass when the guy has no ability to put the ball on the floor and make a play.
Thank you.
Like it's you have to get more dynamic players on the floor. That's where I'm at with this. Like, and I say that as like, I'll never say a negative thing about Looney. Why would I? The dude's the ultimate team guy. He's exceeded his role, but like too many Looney Draymond lineups, too many Clay and Wiggins lineups. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, of course, a younger, more athletic team knows when he kick the ball and they close out, that guy's going to pass the ball because he has no ability to put it on the floor. And so we're going to keep going through this. Like, coach them up all you want, but like, cool, man.
I agree. It's like you got to look at yourself and think about why these turnovers are happening. When you go through all 29, there's probably going to be 8 or 9 of them there that just are going to happen normally, are just going to be dumb.
Sure.
Steph had a few. Draymond just throws a couple out of bounds, right? And just a few dumb ones. But so many of those, 10 to 15 of those, are just going to be, dude, Sarge shouldn't have the ball there making a decision. Neither should Clay. Neither should, right? Like, neither should Kuminga. Why is Wiggins the guy that's making the 4-on-3 decision? You're making these guys that just aren't great decision makers have to make these decisions that should only be made by guys like Steph and Draymond. And Steph and Draymond makes dumb turnovers all the time, but
Yeah.
I'd rather them make those turnovers than have to watch Clay try to force the ball to Looney. Because guess what? If Clay gets the ball to Looney, it's not like he's making the shot, right? Like, and again, love Clay, love Looney.
He's turning,
Just not.
looking for Clay. Like,
It's
how many
just
times
not
have you seen that? Like, Clay makes a little Clay's actually low key good at the pocket pass, and then pivot, turn. Where's Clay? It's just it's so yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But I haven't seen Steve so mad in a while. I mean, he looked really angry. I mean, they gave that one away again. I'm glad he didn't say they gave that one away, but he is right. I mean, they controlled most of that game. Like, that is true. They controlled most of that game against a very good team on the road. Like, that is true. So there is that. But Sam, I don't know. You don't get moral victories for a team that's this veteran laden.
right? Like we don't give a shit about moral victories. Nobody cares. Go win the
Bobby
game.
in the chat. Bobby in the chat's going. It's played out, and that's kind of how I feel about it too. Like it is played out.
Go
Leave
win
it
the
there.
game. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. We get to some goons here. We got Gio, our leadoff hitter, up here.
Oh boy.
Just bring up some Oasis for him.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Can you guys hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah, you're good.
My take is honestly like fuck Bob Myers. Really, like the dude was like what 48 years old, and he like quits because he's too scared to make the hard decisions. And like I mean, that's ridiculous to me. Like the best job in the league is to GM Steph Curry, and you quit at you 48 years old for no reason at all. Like why? Because you're too tired. Like that makes no sense to me. That's my first take. My second take is right. Are they gonna make a move? Like, are they really? Because like the last 4 years, they've done nothing at the deadline. Are they gonna change this team in February? Because like that's my hope. But like honestly, man, because I know Joe Lacob, bro. Like he wants to get out. He wants that tax gone. Like Siakam doesn't make sense.
No, nobody likes to pay taxes. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's true. But all I'm saying is like, do they want to actually try to win this year? Or the following until Steph is done, because like that's my take. Because that's my question for you guys. That's my take.
I'm gonna give you the hopium take here, which is we know trades don't happen until mid-January at the soonest, so there's no reason to get upset over them not making a move on December 8th. You just have to kind of grit it and hope they can win enough games between now and then. And the second one is Mike Dunleavy's not Bob Myers. That does not mean he will be better than Bob Myers. That does not mean he will be worse than Bob Myers. We do not know how he will handle this. I think the first few moves he's made has shown he's not afraid to be unpopular and aggressive, but we don't know. So you can't sit on past precedent with a new GM just because we don't know. We don't know. Like if this was Bob, I'd feel pretty comfortable telling you, pack it up, bro. Let's just get to the off season. Let's hope Kuminga gets some good minutes, But you have a new guy in charge, and we just don't know. That's all I'm gonna say.
My thing is Joe Lacob's still here. Like I mean, like, is there a reason why Bob didn't pivot from James Wiseman because Joe Lacob is still like I don't know, like running the show really? Like does Mike have the agency to actually do things with this roster? Like
I think if Joe was making all the decisions, they would make 20 trades and he'd regret at least half of them by mistake. Yeah, he strikes me as a guy who wants to make a move and then afterwards is like, oh no, I've made a mistake. So I'll give Bob, I'll at least give Bob this. Bob was a guy who saved him from himself a little bit there.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, Joe is like tiring because I would quit too if Joe was my boss. Like, there's no way I'll last like 8 years. 100%. No way.
100%.
Appreciate you, Gio.
No problem.
I think they make a move for what it's worth, but we've got so much time, as you always say. So
yeah, it's like let's like
they have no choice.
Play yourself into position where you have to make a move because it's easy if you're 12 and 27.
Well,
I mean, I don't think that's what's gonna be, but like if you're that, they're just gonna be like, we're making a move, not the move you want, though. Right. We're going the other way, right? So it's kind of like you got to kind of show you can compete enough to make a move. Anyway, let's get to our guy Viggy.
Oh, Nash. Hey, there we go.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Nice.
What's up, man?
It's I feel like, Sam, I only see you after horrific losses to the Thunder. Because I think that was the last time I jumped up on here. But
to be fair, they've had what, like 6 of them this season? So yeah.
Feels like it, right? Man, nice to see you, Andy. I have rambling thoughts, but none that are going to make anyone feel better. So I figured I'll just ramble through them and then we can figure out what to say. Rambling thought number 1. it is more pleasurable to watch these Warriors when the kids are on the court than the vets.
Yeah, agreed.
Rambling thought number 2. Is Corey Joseph a useful NBA player at this point? Rambling thought number 3. I mean, how many more times are we going to see Saric at the 5? Rambling thought number 4. How many more times are we going to staple Kuminga to the bench because he may have looked at Steve the wrong way at some point? I don't know what rambling thought number I'm on at this point, but like
5.
Yeah, 5. Okay, we'll go with 5. This really feels like when you intermesh the lineups by accounting for the vets' limitations and the Ute strengths, there is still a team of substance buried in here. Otherwise, you're not going to take the Thunder to overtime. But the insistence on basically doing, here's my group, and then here's the group that I'm forced to play because they populate the rest of my roster, and nonsensically interleaving them in ways that don't make sense and don't account for the fact that Looney is limited. All these other people are limited in various ways. It's just like, it's the definition of bad coaching and not maximizing the potential of the roster. The roster needs to be better too. Like, let's not get away from that. I agree with y'all. Like, there's probably a move to be made. But holy hell, you can also, like, this is what coaching's about, right? This is what leadership's about. You got to sit the vets down and have a tough conversation and be like, yo, one of you 2 wings are coming off the bench because Moody's knocking on the door or Kuminga's knocking on the door, or I need to know if they are knocking on the door so I can decide what to do next.
Mic drop. I agree with
perfect.
you. Yeah, you're not getting pushback from here. I think how is he any different than Doc Rivers at this stage? That's why I keep coming back to this. This feels like a Doc Rivers team where it's like, these are my guys. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to ride with them, even in the face of evidence that these other guys could help those guys. I don't know. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. He deserves everything he's going to get, but I'm just saying, I'm going like, come on, man. Like, your retirement tour 2, you know?
Who was the guy that Doc Rivers kept signing? Who was that? And he would just was it DeAndre Jordan or who was he just kept signing like the same players.
Big Baby?
It was Austin
Rivers.
That's funny.
There was a handful of them.
There was a few. Avery Bradley, sure. Yeah, that certainly is someone that I'm sure that Steve Kerr would play too much too. But yeah, it's these limited upside guys that I think the Warriors are slowly themselves are becoming too, right? And like Viggy is saying, like in interjecting some of these younger guys, they came back in that. I thought going into that fourth quarter, I thought it was over. They're down by 6 going in, and they throw out a lineup of Kojo, Pods. I think it was Kuminga. I forget a couple other guys, and I tweet like, "Yo, these guys actually brought them back. This is amazing." And Sam kind of goes like, "Yeah, this is what happens when you kind of put together some vets and some energy, right? You got some vets who, Kojo's kind of, whatever, but you give them the energy that Kuminga provides and that Podziemski provides, and now you've got a good mix. Now you've got a good mix of guys. Whereas you've got some upside, you've got some floor, and that's just not something we've seen enough this season. Just not enough ever."
And the tragedy is, I never thought the Warriors of all teams would get here, because everything about how they handled their business in the first half of this dynasty was always about the team above all. And now here they are, I don't know, placating egos or not able to make the rational decision even when it stares them in the face. Look, I'm not an NBA coach. It's easy to armchair or I guess bedside coach at this point. But hell, something's off, right? And I don't know how many more losses will trick away.
I do feel like it's been humbling, because it's like they were so good and so selfless, right? Like the defining quality during those years was like, it's team above individual, and they share the ball and sacrifice, and it's easy to buy into, and everyone gets into it. And they're dealing with the same issues every old good team deals with, which is dudes not willing to admit that they're not who they used to be, unsure how to deal with young guys coming at their legs, and like it's just over. And then like on top of it, chat mentions Wiggins 6 turnovers. Wiggins really should be the bridge player in this group because he's not part of the original dynasty core, but he's also not 21 or 22. You know, he's the guy that you're hoping could take a bigger step at this point. And not only is he not doing that, he's regressing. And I really do think he won't be on this team next season at this rate.
Woo!
It's like, it's one thing if Moses Moody is figuring out who he is for 5 to 6 million. It's another if you're 28-year-old wing who makes 25 million. Just like, I don't know, salary allocation, like figuring out who you are, like all that sort of stuff. Like, they're not asking him to be Steph or Draymond, but they are asking him to be a consistent force for the team, and he hasn't been that. And that's really all you need to know at this point.
Is Kuminga Viggy? Let me ask you this.
He's going to Toronto with Ohtani.
Let me ask you this: Is Kuminga a better player today than Andrew Wiggins?
That's tough, man. I mean, like over the course of the season right now, yeah. Like Kuminga is inconsistent, but the highs are high and the lows are compensated for by energy, effort, and springy legs because dude's way younger than everyone else and way more springy than everyone else. So I would argue he's been better.
I think the more rational way to look at it is I think it's too close to tell, but one of them's 21, making 5 or 6 million with unlimited upside. Like, I mean, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but like there's a lot of ways Kuminga can go. The other guy's 28, should be in the prime of his I know who I am phase. And by the way, he makes 5 times as much.
Yeah.
And it feels like the coaching staff spends more time trying to get him going. Like he should be the guy that gets other guys going, not the other way around.
I ask because when that trade happens, and I'm pretty confident that a trade will happen or multiple trades will happen. I'm just curious who goes. And it obviously it depends, right? All that, whatever. But who is the guy that the Warriors want to go? I'm sure there's a guy that they will want to go. And who is that? I think the obvious answer is obviously Chris Paul to begin with, but that's a contract that you're going to have to attach stuff to make people want.
What are you getting for him? Just on, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, unless you want Zach LaVine, right? Because you could get off a contract. I'm sure they'll do that because they can just eat that contract. But and so I'm curious, right? Is it going to be you throwing Wiggins in there? I mean, like Wiggins and Kuminga for Siakam, but like now you're losing both of those guys. Not to say that both of them are amazing, but you're losing 2 of them. You're still losing wing defense, and you're losing your young guy for. It's like these are things that I think. So I ask, right? It's just it feels like Kuminga's better than Wiggins right now, but again, the bar is so low. Like all Wiggins really has to do is just to be able to make 3-pointers again, and he's still better than Kuminga. Like to me, like it's really all he has to do. The thing is, he's just so fucking bad. He just turned the ball over and can't make a shot. It just doesn't matter. But I mean, it's just they're kind of in a shitty spot with those guys. But those guys are in shitty spots. They did it to themselves. I mean, I don't know what to say. Wiggins did it to himself. Like, buddy, I don't know what to say to you, man. Like, nobody made you terrible this offseason. You did it to yourself. I don't know what to say.
Yep. Big Nash, appreciate you, man. Get you going. Good luck writing. All right, let's get to Tarek here.
Hello?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? You know how they say like Kerr is like from the Pop and Phil Jackson tree? I don't think he really learned nothing from Pop at all. Because remember 2011, Spurs lost to the Grizzlies in the first round, lost to the 8th seed. I think there were some injuries, but then they kind of like switched the way they played around and then made it to the finals, lost, made it back to the 1. And I just feel like he's on this Phil Jackson route where he's going to ram this offense into a brick wall until they get that Maverick series where you have JJ Barea like embarrassing them. And I feel like we're at this point where this entire season feels like that Lakers Maverick series where like you're getting these up and coming teams or these mid teams just come in and they're just doing whatever they want. and it's the square peg round hole thing over and over and over again. It's not just this year. It's even going back the year with Kai Bowman, the year with Watermaker, even going back with like the years with McCall. Like I just feel like we're repeating the same mistakes, turnovers, high turnover rate, over and over and over again with the same offense. And it's like the years we won, the talent was just so overwhelming that it kind of overcame like those deficiencies. But when we don't have that talent, we're seeing like the blemishes now with, all right, now you have these guys creating 4-on-3s, but these aren't the guys that are supposed to be doing this anymore. Like Wiggins is not supposed to be doing this. Sarge is not supposed to be doing this. Draymond could do it, but he's kind of over the hill. Not over the hill, but he's at this point where I feel like that 4-on-3 situation is just not his thing anymore. And the personnel on the team just don't fit what they used to have to make that 4-on-3 an actual viable thing. And I think that's why Wiggins is struggling so much, because when Jordan Poole was on the court, that crunch wasn't there. And I feel like now you have one creator on the court with Steph. That 4-on-3 really isn't that a 4-on-3 anymore, because why would you guard anybody else but Steph at that point? That 4-on-3 is really, or whatever, fuck it, 3-on-3. It's still a 3-on-3 at that point. So I don't know if they're not realizing this on the court, but that space was there when Jordan Poole was there. It's not there anymore. There's no one to replace it, and I don't even think they think there's a problem with that. And I think that's the issue there. Like to them, they think it's 2015 still, and you could still run this, and it's not 2015 anymore. Maybe this team in 2015 runs through the fucking league, but it's not 2015 anymore. It's 2023, and this is not going to work anymore. And I just don't think there's anyone on the coaching staff that's going to hold this accountable. I mean, didn't they get rid of all the coaches a couple years ago, and they brought you guys in? And I feel like it's the same fucking shit. Like, who's going to hold this guy accountable? But that's all I really had to say.
Perfect.
I agree with you, man.
Perfect.
Appreciate the call, man.
That's the one. It's just somebody has to tell them that it's not the same as it was. Stop living in the past, man. I mean, I've lived in the past before. We've all lived in the past before. Somebody's got to wake you up, though. Somebody's got to slap you and be like, yo, Andy, maybe you don't need 6 shots in a row. You're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy. Relax. You know what I mean?
It's not 2015, bro.
Yeah, try eat some dinner before you drink, you idiot. You know, maybe you won't be hungover for 3 days after. You know what I mean? Like, somebody tell these guys, you're not Draymond, you're not that guy.
Don't mix cocktail and wine, bro. Come on.
You know,
Tanish,
vodka and whiskey. Yeah, you used to do both. Tanish don't care. Tanish can drink all he wants. There ain't no hell. What are you, like 20, 22, 21? You know?
Yeah. No, it's sad because I'm out here like it's finals week for us here at college, and
you're like 18. Never mind.
No. I'm like 21, but
nice.
But yeah, like I'm out here like studying for everything, and then I get on the game and I'm taking a break. And first half, like we're great, like amazing, like we're up, we're playing well. Yeah, we're turning it over. At least we're up, right? And then the second half and OT was just a series of fake comebacks that didn't let me leave the game, because I kept thinking that, hey, maybe there's like 1% chance that like they'll win. So I wanted to stay to watch the win. And like every time I got like heartbroken. So anyways, my question for you guys is, what do you think their record's going to be until the trade deadline? Like, we're all talking about this, like, oh, they're going to make a trade. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Like, playing like this, I don't see how we win against anyone but, like, the Blazers and the Clippers, maybe. Like, who else?
So
well, if you look at the schedule.
Yeah, but he's bringing up one of my favorite points is to be like, oh, they've played a lot of teams over 500. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you're under 500. That means you play a lot of better teams. Let's pull up the schedule real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked at this earlier.
L W W L W.
Hey, maybe
W.
JP 40-point game.
They lose to the Wizards.
Yeah, I feel like they lose to the Wizards. I don't know.
4-4, 5-4,
yeah,
5-5, 5-6, 6-6, 7-6, 7-7. I mean, honestly,
that's got to be Toronto's got to be a win. Come on, Sam.
Yeah,
they'll be 500. They'll be 500.
But I gave them a win over Denver, which was a lie. So So I was evening it out in my mind. I think they will be, just looking at the schedule, 500.
500.
Two games above, two
Yeah.
games below.
Yeah, whatever.
They'll be sitting in that same range. Like, can they beat Phoenix on the road? Yes. Will they? I don't know. Probably not.
No.
Probably not. You know, they should beat Brooklyn. You know, it's just going through the whole thing. I think they're going to be sitting in the play-in range at about 500.
Yeah. No, that Phoenix game, I've a final 3-6 that day. I'm gonna hop on at 7. I swear, if they have another like performance, I might not watch. Like, I might take a break, a game or two. Like,
You could probably, that's just what you probably should do that. Probably maybe hit a frat party or something. It's probably
Nah,
better
for
than watching
real.
the Warriors, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Appreciate you, Tanish.
See ya.
Get out of here, my man.
Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck on finals. Yeah. Good luck. All right, let's get one more up here. And we call it a day.
All right, last one. Where's Big Walter been, by the way? I miss him.
I must summon him. Where's my
Yeah.
guy? He only comes when the times are positive. Even he's too sad. Even he's too sad.
That's what we're here for, man. You know, that's what we're here
Might
for.
as well. Maxie, what's up, man?
Uh-oh. You might be
Okay.
All right. I guess we're cooked.
I say we call it a night. We've put in an appropriate amount of time tonight.
Let's go. We'll see you guys.
It's like clocking in at the we're done for the night. Sad day, boys. Luke, I agree with you. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back.